Next on Worcester News tonight, in time for the Pope's visit, a peace made here in Worcester awaits the pontiff at the United Nations. And the Worcester Regional Airport takes a step forward thanks to another round of federal funding. Good evening, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McCone. The city of Worcester is rolling out 13 different PSAs this week addressing the opioid epidemic in the city. The spots will be airing right here on Charter TV 3 and also shared on social media by the city. The goal is to help raise awareness of the ongoing problem in the city, which the city manager says is at the top of the list for public health issues facing Worcester.
Since September 1st, we've had 105 overdoses in the city of Worcester. Thankfully, only 3 have resulted in death, although that's way too many. Because of the availability of Narcan and the training that we've provided and the distribution of Narcan to our police and fire, we've saved a lot of lives. However, you know, that volume in just 3 weeks just, I think, explains the kind of depth of the crisis that we're dealing with.
Elected officials, Police Chief Gary Jem, and the Worcester Braveheart players are just some of the people featured in the spots. Well, the first of a series of 4 political debates was held tonight by the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce and the Research Bureau. The debate was held at Mechanics Hall and included 6 current Worcester School Committee members and 4 challengers. The debate was moderated by business and educational leaders, including Becker College President Robert Johnson. Topics included academic achievement, facilities, and the safety of students and faculty in Worcester Public Schools. Organizers say the purpose of tonight's debate is to ensure there's a well-educated and trained workforce to today's workforce.
In total, those together?
I think it's going to be questions across the gamut, and it's going to give each one of the members of the school committee to talk about, you know, what their priorities are and what they'd like to do to see the school system improve and you know, for our kids.
It's a natural partnership. The Research Bureau is representative of civic and business interests in the community, trying to make sure we have good government. We reached out to the chamber to coordinate with them, knowing of their same interest as a pure representative of the business community. So it's something that, you know, both of us bring that kind of corporate business civic interest to the table.
The next debate will be held next Monday at Mechanics Hall and will include the mayoral candidates. Now, the latest in the case of Bella Bond. Days after the little girl found dead on Boston's Deer Island is identified, the suspects in her death face a judge. Today, Bella Bond's mother was charged after being an accessory after the fact, while her boyfriend was charged with murder. Alicia Rodriguez has more on the story.
Her angelic face captivated the nation, but prosecutors say she was killed by her mother's boyfriend, Michael McCarthy, who claimed she was possessed by demons.
Mr. McCarthy had become very interested in the occult, purported to see demons, purported to see ghosts.
McCarthy is charged with killing 2-year-old Bella Bond, who for weeks was only known as Baby Doe. Her mother, also in Dorchester District Court, accused of being an accessory after the fact.
She found Mr. McCarthy standing over Bella, who was on a bed, which the mattress was on the floor, standing over Bella with his hand near her abdomen.
Bond says her daughter was dead a short time after that, but instead of going to the police, the couple is accused of putting the small body in their fridge, a detail that was too much for a family friend.
I hope I'm rotten hell. I'm leaving.
Prosecutors say the couple dumped the body into Boston Harbor about a month later.
She reports that he took weights, put them in the bag, and then dumped her body in the water.
Then on Wednesday, nearly 3 months after her body was found on Deer Island, a longtime friend of McCarthy's told police Bond confided in him that Bella was dead. He didn't know details, but he had seen abuse in the past.
Both of them, but particularly Mr. McCarthy, had on at least 2 occasions locked the girl in a closet for between 30 minutes and an hour, and while she screamed to be let out.
That tip led to the apartment the couple shared in Dorchester. McCarthy's attorney says his client thought that whole time Bella was in DCF care.
As they had taken her 2 daughters previously, he believed her. And that's all he was ever told by Ms. Bond.
You never looked in the fridge?
As far as the details are concerned, I can't get into that.
Worcester police are investigating a motorcycle accident on Mill Street this afternoon, but we're told a motorcyclist apparently lost control and crashed into this vacant building. The driver was taken to the hospital, but his condition is not known at this time. The building is a former supermarket. It's been vacant for years. A Worcester police officer is indicted today in connection with assaulting a prisoner in a holding cell. This is Officer Michael Moika from his arraignment this spring. The Attorney General's office has been investigating since May. Investigators allege Officer Michael Motika assaulted a prisoner who was handcuffed last December inside the Worcester Police Station. The 17-year veteran of the police department will be arraigned at a later date. Well, the Pope may not be coming to Worcester, but something created in the city may be seeing him. Our Kayla Mamalak has more.
When Pope Francis arrives in New York this week, a little piece of Worcester will be waiting for him.
Well, we were hired to manufacture a display case for the country of Kuwait, which is in the UN. Our milestone was to get it done, installed before the Pope's visit there.
The assignment was given to Continental Woodcraft back in August and was completed September 16th. It now sits in the lobby of the UN General Assembly.
Came from right here in Worcester.
Now here's a look at the studio where the case was actually built. It's 7,000 pounds, 13 feet tall, and 20 feet long. It took the men 5 weeks to create.
It was a little nerve-wracking in the beginning because we didn't think we could do it, but everything came together and we were happy.
Vice President Glenn Martin says Kuwait gifted the boat to the UN in 1987, but the case is brand new, built with specially ordered old bond boards, red birch, and stainless steel. The team says whether or not the Pope actually notices the case, they are still honored to have their work in such a well-known place.
We're a local Worcester company, and we get local projects, but to see your stuff going around the world and going into places that, I've only seen on TV, the UN General Assembly building, that's where it really hits home and it makes your job enjoyable.
Kayla Mamalak, Worcester News Tonight.
Pope Francis continues his trip to Cuba at a large outdoor mass in the eastern part of the country. Francis called on Cubans to heed Jesus Christ's invitation to overcome resistance to change. On the Pope's third day on the island, he called on Cubans to serve people rather than ideologies and not close themselves off to others who think differently. Well, positive news for the Worcester Regional Airport. Massport is getting federal money to develop the runway system, as well as keep pay for a badly needed Cat 3 landing system. Our Olivia Lemon has more on what it means for the future business at the airport.
This is an ideal opportunity for Worcester Regional Airport to improve the landing system for the latest and greatest generations of aircraft that allow for landing at the lowest minimum amounts of visibility.
Andy Davis is talking about a $2.7 million grant the Worcester Regional Airport received from the Federal Aviation Administration. The airport director says the grant money will pay for the start of Phase 1 of a Category 3 instrument landing system.
The initial phase is preparatory work for the airfield, a haul road, so we can move construction equipment and fill to the areas that we'll be building on, an additional taxiway.
Davis says the overall project is $30 million and will take another 2 construction phases to finish.
Right now, we can allow planes to land with visibility of approximately 1/3 of a mile. The Category 3 will allow for visibility landings down as low as 600 feet of horizontal visibility.
The funding will also support the construction of a partial parallel taxiway in order to allow jets to get to the terminal without turning around on the runway.
It's infrastructure on the airfield where we will have what's, at a lack of better terms, a jug handle, which will allow aircraft to turn off the runway at the very far end of our primary runway.
Davis says the landing system is expected to be complete by fall 2017. He's hopeful these improvements will allow more airlines to fly in and out of Worcester.
As we continue to demonstrate that customers in the community around central Massachusetts will still use and use the airport, we look forward to growth opportunities.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
Mechanics Hall holds its 172nd annual meeting. Members and friends of the Hall were invited. They were treated to live music and drinks. The Hall also handed out the Master Mechanic Award, which was given to the Crowley family. The Crowleys are owners of Polar Beverages and Wachusett Mountain Ski Resort. Ralph Crowley Jr. was the guest speaker at the event.
The excellence and achievement that the Mechanics Association espouses. So we're very excited tonight to award that to the Crowley family.
A milestone anniversary for a local Boy Scout troop. Troop 54, based out of Worcester, celebrated 100 years this weekend. The Scouts also celebrated longtime Scoutmaster Herb Adams, a World War II veteran who led the troop for more than 25 years. Troop 54 is the oldest continuously operating troop in Central Mass. Congratulations.